So, Arrow. Arrow was a show I really, really liked and adored. It was intense, it was suspenseful. It had a great story, great characters, awesome moments, decent enough costumes. I mean, if you want to complain about them, look at Smallville, especially for Cyborg and Aquaman, then complain about Arrow's costumes. Comic tie-ins, obscure comic tie-ins, and a literal ton of Batman symbolism. But where did it go wrong? How can a gritty, somewhat realistic drama about a hot billionaire playboy becoming a hero by using his talent and money to protect the city from crime fail so drastically? Especially at a time when superhero media it was more popular than ever before. What was the moment that when Arrow jumped the shark? Let's find out. During its sixth season run, the show has had three periods, as I would like to call them. The good run from season 1 to half of season 3, the terrible run from second half of season 3 to the dreaded season 4, just saying it sends chills down my spine, and the resurgence run from season 5 to so far season 6. To understand how it all fell apart, we have to look at what made it so popular in the first place. Stephen Amell. Just kidding, but he was a huge audience driver through though. No, in all honesty, it was the plot and the greedy realism. Season 1 was focused on a revenge plot centered around Oliver, Malcolm, their families, and a conspiracy to destroy Starling City, and Oliver had to use everything he learned to stop it. The season ends with the villain of the season winning. His plan to destroy a part of the city, with that having the opposite effect that he wanted. Instead of saving the city, it brought it on the verge of collapse. Season 2 was a continuation of Season 1, with all of its consequences. The city divided, Tommy dead, Oliver quit killing, and Malcolm went missing after the final fight. These were the big plot points of the second season, focused on. And the second season went all out. Sarah came back as Black Canary, Roy became Red Arrow, and we saw the best depiction of Deathstroke we are ever going to see. No offense to DC for trying, even though he's the most accurate character they have right now. Sorry, Gal Gadot and as somewhat Ezra Miller, but yeah, Deathstroke from the TV show is way better than literally Boba Fett right now. The season had so many gut-wrenching moments as well, not only in flashbacks but in the present, and solidifying Arrow as the Batman live-action show we deserve, not the one we have to put up with. I'm looking at you, Gotham. As you can see, Arrow had been consistently good for the first two seasons. The third season started pretty strong as well, with the League of Assassins showing up wanting Malcolm for the murder of Sarah, and the flashbacks were rather weak compared to earlier seasons. Despite that, the first half of the third season was pretty good. The mid-season finale episode, The Climb, being the top-rated Arrow episode on IMDb to date, and also according to fans. So where did it go wrong? Well, the second half of the third season started strong as well. The Brick storyline was particularly well done, but after that, the show started going downhill. The big build-up of the whole season did not pay off as we expected, and we had very lackluster last 4 episodes of this season. One of the big reasons the show went downhill was because it shifted its focus from action to romance. And now this may be my opinion, but I think that it should have ended at the third season. Basically everything was wrapped up. Ray Palmer was gone. We knew that Flash could pick up the pace and, find him somewhere. We could have had Oliver as a recurring character in The Flash. Sorry, as a guest star. But you get the point. It would have been better other than getting the 4th season. Also, Flash having a great show didn't help Arrow either, with people comparing Arrow and Flash and finding Arrow coming short, even though they're fundamentally 2 different shows. Like seriously, one show has an archer fighting crime, the other show has literally the most OP character in comics fighting crime, even though he could solve it for less than 30 seconds. Whew. The Flash started airing at the same time as Arrow's 3rd season, and they shared the same universe. This meant the characters could go to each other's show, and that posed a problem. Suddenly we had a world filled with people with superpowers, and Arrow had to deal with that as well. And we see that prominently in Season 4. Oh, how I dread Season 4. Season 4 started strong with balancing the action and romance pretty well. For a second there I thought, hey, maybe I could overlook this Damien Dark business and just, hey, like, maybe it's gonna be this season. I can live with it. Fine, sure. The Grave Tease was great, but the show's quality had undoubtedly declined. Still, it was by no means a bad show. It changed in the second half of Season 4, however. Oh boy, how I dread the second half of every season. It's always the same. The second half of the season completely ruins the show. Anyways, the writers of the show forgot that they were writing a superhero show and shifted all their focus on romance between the two characters. Arrow's main character, Oliver Queen, aka Green Arrow, aka the Vigilante, aka for the love of God, please don't go with Felicity, and Felicity. To appease a certain group of viewers, they shipped Felicity. Yep, Oliver was with Felicity. Even though we had Felicity basically being the main hoe of the series, since she was going with Barry, she went with Oliver, she went with Ray, and who knows with who else is she gonna go. Anyways, the show kept declining in quality as the episodes passed, with the season finale being one of the worst episodes of the show's history. Everyone dreaded the season finale. Fans hated it, critics hated it, everyone hated it. Your dog hated it. If you don't have a dog, your cat hated it. If you don't have a cat, then you hated it. So while the last few episodes of Season 3 is where Arrow went wrong, it could have easily picked itself up in Season 4, which it didn't. Also, having Oliver face against a person who could literally toss him like a ragdoll and force choke him was entirely one-sided. I mean, seriously, can you imagine Hawkeye facing with Darth Vader if Darth Vader didn't have the lightsaber? Yeah. How do you think that match is gonna go? Because here's how it's gonna go. Hawkeye's gonna fucking die! Oh, and don't get me started on how Oliver had magic powers all this time. I mean, seriously, this whole season was stupid. Killing Laurel was stupid. Oh, and let's not forget, Oliver had magic powers that countered Damien Dark's. And then we had the flashbacks, which were an explanation of the totem and the totems and that bullshit. And, well, let's see here. How can we fuck up Season 4 even more? I don't know. Maybe we just make Season 5 better? Yep, the writers actually learned from their mistake, and the 5th season didn't have a single bad episode in my opinion. If you really look at it, it was a return to form for Arrow. It was back to gritty realism. With 2 metas, but, you know, I can forgive that. We also had the return of Deathstroke's actor Manu Bennett, who we thought was never gonna come back. And he came back! God, how I love the fact that he came back, especially when he dressed up in his Deathstroke costume. This season, the 5th season, basically brought back the Arrow that many viewers fell in love with, including myself. It was basically the same Arrow from Season 1, and I love Season 1 more than Season 2. I know that you're gonna flame me, but yeah, that is just my opinion. So while Arrow did hit a snag for about 25 seasons, or, you know, 1 season, did I say seasons? I meant 25 episodes. Yeah, that is entirely their season. I'm glad it didn't give up. I'm glad I didn't give up on it. It had been an outright amazing season, the 5th season. I love this show. I really did, and thankfully I didn't give up on it. I don't know about Season 6, because I really need to watch it, so yeah, I really hope that they didn't just go back on the slippery slope and just say, hey, this is actually more interesting, why don't we continue with this? Anyways, this was the Pop Culture Observer signing out.